Hello and welcome back. This is an 8th grade math video where we're going to be reviewing how to convert between fractions and decimals as you get ready to review operations with rational numbers. Okay, here's our first one. We're going to write the decimal 0.47 as a simplified fraction. That means we're first going to write it as a fraction, and then if we can simplify it, we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and look at our decimal 0.47. So one thing a fraction needs is it needs a numerator and a denominator. Now, what gives us a clue as to the denominator of this fraction or the bottom number is how many place values the decimal has. Since the decimal ends at this place value, which is called the hundredths place, that means that the denominator of the fraction is actually 100. So we can use the decimal to determine what denominator our fraction is going to have. Then after that, all I have to do is take that number and put it right on top of that denominator. So 0.47 as a fraction is 47 over 100. So now I need to look at it and see if I think I can simplify it. There are lots of things I can divide 100 by, but I can't think of anything that I can divide 47 by. I believe it may be a prime number. So that means this already is a simplified fraction. The answer would be 47 over 100. Okay, here's our next one. We're going to write the fraction 7 over 9 as a decimal. So I'm going to rewrite this as 7 over 9. Now, if that denominator was 10, this would be a lot easier, but it's not. And I can't even really think of anything I can multiply 9 times to get a multiple of 10, like 10 or 100 or 1000. So I'm going to have to go to my last choice, which is to actually use division to find out what this would be as a decimal. What that means is I need to take the top number or the numerator and put it inside the division bracket and take the bottom number or the denominator and put it outside. Since I know I'm trying to get a decimal, I'm going to go ahead and put a decimal and a 0 here and a decimal up into my answer space. If it's been a while since you divided anything with decimals, check out some of my earlier videos on dividing decimals. Okay, so 9 does not fit into 7, so I'm going to put a 0 there. But 9 would fit into 70. I believe it would go, let's see, 9 times 7 is 63. I think that's as close as we're going to get. So I'll make that 63. When I subtract it, I have 7 left over. So since I can't have a remainder when I'm getting a decimal, I'm going to have to add a 0, bring that down and place it here. 9 fits into 70, 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63. When I subtract that, I get 7 left over. So I'm going to add another 0 and bring that down and make that 70. So by now you should be able to see this could go on forever. Like I will always get 63, get 7 and add a 0 and be right back at 70. So this is what's going to be what we call a repeating decimal, which means this number 7 will repeat itself on and on and on for the rest of time. So what we're going to do is rewrite it as 0.7, and then we're going to put a little bar over the 7. What this bar means is that that digit 7 will repeat on forever and ever and ever. So we're not going to keep writing it. So this would be our answer. 7 over 9 as a decimal would be 0.7 repeating. Okay, here's our next one. We're going to write 7.1 as a simplified mixed number. Now, the reason we said mixed number instead of fraction is because we do have something in front of the decimal, which means we have ones. So since we know we're going to make a mixed number, we know we need a number in the ones place and a fraction right next to it. So 7 is in the ones place. So that tells me we have 7 whole numbers here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that as the big number. Now let's look and see what place value the decimal ends. It ends in the tenths place, so that means the denominator here is going to be 10, and then I simply just have to put the 1 right next to it. So the mixed number here would be 7 and 1/10. Okay, here's our next one. We're going to write the mixed number -3 and 7/10 as a decimal. So just like we saw in the last one, the whole number goes in front of the decimal. So if, in this case, if I have 3 whole numbers in my mixed number, and I'm going to rewrite that here, 7 over 10, because you guys know by now I like to have my fractions right on top of each other, not slanted as we do when we have to type. So I know I have -3. So that means I have 3 whole numbers. So there's going to be a number in front of the decimal. So I'm going to go ahead and put -3 over here. I know that that's going to go there. Now I need to look at my denominator to see what place value that decimal needs to end at. It looks like it needs to end in the tens place. So I'm going to make one more line here to show that that's where it's going to end. Then I can just take that 7 and put it right over here. So this would be -3.7 as a decimal. Okay, here's our last one for this video, and it looks like this might even be our easiest one. We're going to write 0.1 as a simplified fraction. Okay, so again, as we've talked about, the denominator of the fraction or the mixed number depends on where the decimal ends. So the decimal ends in the tenths place, which means that the denominator of the fraction is going to be 10. Now I just have to go ahead and take that 1 and put it right on top. Now in this one, it was 0.1, so I had no whole number, so this won't be a mixed number. Now I just need to check and see if I can simplify it. Well, there's a few different things I can divide 10 by. I can't divide by 1 by any of them. Yes, I could divide them both by 1. I could divide 1 by 1 and 10 by 1, but that's not going to change my fraction. It's still going to be 1 over 10. So I think this is already simplified. So the answer here would be 1 over 10. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you in another video soon.